Alright, here we go with a experiment as far as lighting arrangement goes. This may or may not be a permanent arrangement because this lighting arrangement does wash me out a little bit, but it does reduce the glare of my glasses on the laptop, so I don't know. It's starting to grow on me, but you see the light back here that causes issues with my previous lighting arrangements where I have to move the monitor to the corner of my desk. I thought I would try this out and see if I could just comfortably sit with the monitor where it normally is when I'm using the computer. But anyway, aside from that, this video is mainly a follow-up to my ranked play video, and I'm talking about future plans for the particular arrangement. I don't ever plan on, well, at least not in the near future, posting game footage of me playing, because I don't really have the computer capabilities to record my games, and replays, they're kind of not in the game by default. Sort of, I have to be playing the game to record them. Even if I use third-party software, I have to be having the game launched and running in spectator mode to launch replays that are available on sites, so it's going to be a little tricky to play. More effort than it's worth in the immediate vicinity to upload footage of me playing, and I'm actually not that great. I'm a Silver 4 and deserve to be there. I am not all that good. The main reason I'm making this follow-up video is because they've announced when the ranked season is going to end, which is basically every so often, like the ranked season starts. You start off, you take your placements, and then you earn your way up from that spot that they set you at. If you were ranked at a previous stage in the previous season, you still have to do placements, and generally speaking, you'll still be placed where you need to be, and you have to earn your way back up again. Just basically resets. Usually you're placed reasonably close to where you were in the previous season. When the ranked season ends, ranked season's over. That's as far as you got this season. You get rank rewards based on where you were. If you got gold or higher, you get a victorious skin, which this year it's severe. On previous occasions it was like Morgana and Elise was on one of them. I think Jarvan was one. I'm not entirely sure though. But yeah, you have to be gold or higher to get that. And you get frames from silver and up. You get a corresponding frame to where you ended last season. And they've announced that the end of this season is November 11th, which is about a month and a week or so from now. And I'm at Silver 4, so I have to get to Silver 3, 2, 1, and then get into gold to gold 5 from there within a month to get those gold rewards in the gold frame. I originally went into it thinking that the season ended around December or January, but either I misread the information I looked up, or it is ending sooner than usual. It's probably just I looked at the stuff wrong. Maybe that's when the preseason starts. But yeah. Preseason is when a whole bunch of changes to the jungle and meta and items usually happen. So that's I'm looking forward to that kind of thing. And it means that the ADC itemization patch is going to be coming a little bit sooner than I expected it to. But yeah. So anyway, I probably won't be able to make it to gold this season. And when the next ranked season starts, I'm going to wait a bit for most people to get that are super serious about ranked and were previously at much higher ranks to get out of their placements. Wait a little bit so I could just get into the rank placements without worrying about having plat 5s or challengers getting slapped in there with me at random, and so I could just have a clean living hell experience like I had this time around. So essentially I went through the hell of my rank placements for next to no point. This for the coming year until the next ranked season ends, I'll have a silver frame, because there's no way I'm getting gold in a month and a week. If my ranked placements were any indication of the kind of matches I will get, and the 2 matches I've had so far in ranked are any indication. There's no chance in hell I'm getting to gold this season, because the first match I did was a loss. Fortunately, the loss was the first one and not the second one. The second one was a win, because losses make you lose LP and wins make you gain LP. So I've got to get 100 points in the division I'm in to get to Silver 3. Then I've got to get another 100 points to get up to Silver 2, and do it again for Silver 1, and I've got to do it again to get up to Gold 5. And each of those, I've not only got to do 100 points, I've got to win 2 out of 3 promotional matches to get to the next division. So, yeah, a very vast likelihood. Best case scenario, I get the amount of LP I need to get to Silver 3 in 4 matches, because on the previous match I got 21 points for just 1 win. So in about 5 matches I'd be able to go for my best of 3, and then I have to win 2 of that 3 to get to the next division. That's not gonna happen. I'm not a good enough player to carry. And so often, like 25% of the time, I've been running into teams that are okay, but kind of need carrying sometimes. The first match I had in ranked a DC. Again, you remember my placements video, how much I had to deal with that shit. How much bullshit I had to deal with in ranked games. First match, boom. Second match, I have to deal with Thresh and get behind early. And I'm playing Caitlyn ADC, so if you get behind, you become useless for the rest of the game. And I have to deal with, like, just for getting hooked twice. I get BM'd constantly by my support. And we do win through no use of my own, because I fell off and never came back because Caitlyn. So, I'm not good enough to get to gold. I'll admit it. I'm not a good enough player. I need to improve my ADC pool considerably. I need to become a good jungler, just to have that where I don't have to dread getting stuck in jungle. I need to refine my support play a bit so I can consistently work as a team with my ADC, rather than becoming entirely useless because nobody will follow up. I need to be able to carry consistently. I need to compensate for my own failings as a support player, and figure out how to freaking win as a support when nobody properly follows up. In perfectly valuable situations from my perspective, I must be doing something wrong. You know, I mean, how do you not rely on randoms when you're playing support? How do you still carry the game when you do things that seem perfectly viable and effective, and it's not capitalized on? How do you compensate for that? I have a reasonably diverse pool for top lane, and I'm okay-ish at it. And I'm okay-ish mid, but could stand to improve my roaming capabilities and overall vision control and minimap awareness, because too often I fall victim to camping. I need to compensate for that. It's just, I've hit silver tier. I've hit where I belong in ELO, and people have stopped making the mistakes that previous ELOs have been making. So I actually need to learn how to play, you know, on a more serious level. I actually need to, like, do things that counter people. I mean, a lot of people will be saying, like, oh, silver's practically bronze. As far as I've noticed, bronze, like, you could just do what the fuck ever. As long as you're reasonably solid mechanically and you won't die, you'll, if when I end up playing with, like, bronzies, due to, like, playing with a much lower elo friend dragging the elo of the group down, I freaking go, like, 32-1. That's bronze. And, like, so when you start hitting silver, you start having people that have rudimentary mechanics. They're not good, but they still have rudimentary mechanics, and you actually have to play mechanically. You have to ward, and you have to keep an eye on your minimap. You actually have to do the things you need to do to play the game properly, or you will just feed. I could still competitively, well, not competitively, but at this elo, I can still do reasonably well. But it's a condition where if I get ahead, okay, I'm ahead. I'm, like, winning the game. I'm playing the game, and I'm doing solidly. My team's doing well, and everything's going fine. If I get a little bit behind, I'm behind. So I'm at about the elo I belong at. I need to get to where I can play from behind a little bit better at this difficulty rating. I'm not an enormously awful player by any means of the imagination, but I'm not gold. And at this rate, with my inability to carry teams that are, like, full of bullshit, and when bullshit happens, I can't deal. And if my team is one of those people that are silver but bad, I can't carry well enough to deal with it. First priority on my list, though, to prep for next season is going to be to diversify my ADC arsenal, because I pretty much can only play Caitlyn. I pretty much only play Caitlyn in ADC, and honestly, she's decent, but she's not cutting it. And overall, I'm not good enough to be able to use her when my team sucks. I can't really play her well from behind at my current skill level. If I'm on a team with like my friends, where I know I can rely upon them and they have passable skills, I can just dominate as Caitlyn. But she's not. Well, I'm not good enough with her, and she doesn't scale as well as most ADCs in the entire game. I'm not good enough with her, and she doesn't have the traits necessary to carry from behind. So I've got to diversify my ADC champion pool to include more scenarios and do more things, be able to play from behind, or do things that Caitlyn's bad at. But yeah, next season, after a period of time in which placements will have calmed down and most people will be where they belong, might be somewhere in January or February, I will be doing my ranked placements again and do a sequel to the previous ranked placements video, again breaking down each of the 10 placement games. And this time I will stop losing track of which number I'm on. So yeah. By then I will have diversified my ADC champion pool, hopefully gotten a bit better at support, learned to jungle more solidly, and refined my decent but shaky mid play. I think I'm fairly solid as a top. I've pretty much only very rarely lose in top outright. Unless it's against something I've never laned against before, I can usually play pretty consistently top and have the top mechanics reasonably solid. Mid needs refinement, mostly in my warding, because I don't ward nearly enough, and my ability to mini-map awareness, keep control of where the jungler is, because I need to not fall prey to junglers that are good at evading wards. I need to refine my awareness of the jungler's position. Because that's my primary weakness in mid. I'm easy to gank. If you have solid jungle mechanics, you can just gank the shit out of me. And if you camp me, I have no means of. I don't really play against camps well. I need to practice being camped. But yeah. Anyway, this also gives me a nice little period of time which I don't have to worry too heavily in ranked, because I'm not going to bother trying to get to gold, really, because I know I'm not going to be able to. It protects me from this the crap that will go down because Worlds is in play. Like, Faker played Olaf mid and dominated, so everybody's going to be trying to play Olaf mid and like be Faker. So I don't have to deal with that. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't really see why people are so down on Olaf mid, because sure, he's not as good at mid as a lot of other more meta mid champions are, but his axe line is decent AoE, dueling capability, and good lane clear. He doesn't have a huge amount of CC, but he has a really solid early game, and pretty much his entire thing is ulting and being unstoppable, and just like burning down squishy mages, which is pretty much the meta for mid lane now. He's like a tank version of the reason people play assassins in mid lane. But yeah, I don't see why people are as down on it as they are, but I don't want to have to deal with people doing it in mid, both for playing against it and for people doing it badly on my team. And also the 5-man and the Wood 5-man invades will be happening even more, because a lot of 5-man invades are happening in Worlds right now, today at least. And people at Silver and below really don't know how to do 5-man invades properly. It's already frequent at my ELO. But it's just going to be even worse now, because people think, oh, that's the freaking how you're supposed to do it. And while it only work at a competitive level, it's so easy for that to go horribly, horribly wrong. I mean, on several occasions, on 2 separate occasions in which my team was subject to a 5-man invade, we got 3 kills off of it, with just 3 of us there. We were outnumbered, by 2, and we still got 3 kills off of that. On another occasion, I got nearly got a triple. So yeah, but on another occasion, mid didn't properly respond to the situation, and we lost a couple of people into a 5-man invade. So the only thing that can make a Silver and below 5-man invade successful is the other team that you're invading be complete shit and not be prepared for it or aware of what's going on. So at least I might not have to deal with that every game, because it's going to be happening every single solitary game now, because people have been doing it so much in Worlds. So yeah, I want to deal with that in ranked. And I'm also still shaking off a really bad game that I had yesterday in Team Builder, in which I was trying to diversify my champion pool. I was playing Corki ADC, and I was the only one that did anywhere remotely good in that game. Because at 3 minutes my support disconnected, so I was shoved in for most of the game. The benefit was I didn't die a huge amount, because I was playing accordingly, and I actually managed to get 7 kills and be 5-2 for a large majority of the game, and ended up 7-7. Because when you're 4v5 and most of the team is behind and refuses to group, You're going to be it's damn good breaking even. I had some good shots, some good picks, but nobody on my team was positive, and nobody on my team into that game broken even except me. It was harsh. It was terrible. My team didn't group, could barely team fight. My support DC'd 3 minutes into the game. At least it wasn't a ranked game. So yeah, anyway, I'll be practicing, and hopefully next placements I'll at least be silver 4 again. Maybe I'll be placed a little higher with my diversified pool. Maybe I'll get a little bit better luck. Or if at the bare minimum it'll be an entertaining video of me like pointing out how shit the people in placements are. Since I've been through it once before, I might have a better baseline, which could have both negative and positive consequences because the players I'm against might be better, but my players I'm with might be better. But anyway, this has been going on far too long. A quick update for as far as the rest of my videos go. I'm working on, don't expect it any time soon, maybe sometime within the next month, reviews of the new Age of the Empires books that I've been meaning to get around to reviewing Age of Rebellion and Force and Destiny for a while. It's just I haven't been able to get my hands on them. But I will be reviewing the content there and also like fleshing out a more well-rounded review of the final product, because I did review the beta, which is pretty much all my opinions still hold true of it there. It's still good, and it's pretty much the same game as it was in the beta, because I was reviewing the beta with the final update to it, which is pretty much the final book. And I will also, I'm pretty much guaranteed that the new game that's going to be starting up in my local group is going to be a Rogue Trader game. So, I'll probably produce some content related on talking about the Rogue Trader game that's coming up. Because honestly, one of my favorite types of games is like something where you're either in charge of it, like a ship sort of environment, or you're like world building or empire building, and that's what all Rogue Trader is all about. I would play the shit out of a Rogue Trader video game, and I'm not talking like Elite and Dangerous or EVE Online, where you're flying a spaceship around as one man, going about in the galaxy, trading and fighting in spaceships. That's one dimension of what I want. Give me Armed and Elite and Dangerous or EVE Online with the ability to get out onto space stations or planets and explore or interact. Just bare minimum, give me the ability to get out of onto space stations and go into like meeting rooms or cantinas or other things like that in a space station to do like political wheelings and dealings or black market trades or some shit. When I dock to a spaceship, don't just put it on a HUD for me and I'm sitting in my ship and I never get out of it. Have me get around and explore that wrecking space station. Doesn't even need to have on-ground combat. Oh, that would be just great if you like fully embraced that sort of thing and like could do that, sort of thing. But yeah, that I would play the ever-loving hell out of that kind of a Rogue Trader-esque game where you could get off of the ship at least for wheelings and dealings on space stations. I know Star Trek Online somewhat does that to a degree where you get off the ship to fight things, but there's no wheelings and dealings in that game. It's pretty much all combat. So like something where you fly around in a ship, maybe with multiple crewmen, and you can walk around on like space stations, maybe explore planets. That would just, that would consume my life. Anyway, look for some Star Wars, Edge of the Empire, Age of Rebellion, Force and Destiny content within the next month, and probably some Rogue Trader related content talking about the Rogue Trader games we're probably going to do. I'm also probably going to be working on starting up a new game of my own where I'm DMing it, because the superhero game I was running is kind of just petered out. I might do a review of the superhero game I was using for that called Capes, Cowls, and Villains Foul, But, yeah, don't count on it. Anyway, look forward to next year, more ranked adventures, and seeing me, like, having seen things man was not meant to say. All the time. Me being traumatized, frustrated, and looking like I've aged 5 years. This is Cheese of Ages signing off.